días a todo nuestro público de la comunidad hispana y bienvenidos al espectáculo aéreo Great Texas Air Show. Soy Vanessa Adame de la ala de entrenamiento 37 y estoy en vivo desde la base militar conjunta Randolph en San Antonio. Tenemos un día de diversión para toda la familia y también una presentación de los famosos Thunderbirds. Esta tarde les traemos todos los detalles y los mejores momentos de este gran espectáculo aéreo. Ahora dirijamos la mirada al cielo.
All players, Legion 2-5, switch to 1-2-3-1-5 discreet. Sandy, I need you in north-south. I'm the south, confirm visual tally. There, those are good effects. Prior to the pickup, the rescue mission commander, the JTAC, and the fighter aircraft worked to neutralize the remaining enemy forces and ensure safe passage for the rescue helicopter. The HH-60 Jolly Green 2 helicopter has advanced avionics and defensive systems to locate the survivors quickly and get to them safely. Today's demonstration helicopter is commanded by Major Rex Sexy Reed and co-pilot Alexander Voss. Their crew of special mission aviators consists of Staff Sergeant Hunter Rango Hughes and A1C Tyler Layden. Jolly Legion 2-5 PZ is now secure. Claw 7-4 ready for exfil. As the Jolly Green 2 aircraft approaches from the south, you'll see them execute a racetrack weapons pattern. This allows for terminal area scans for both friendly and enemy forces. Utilizing their door-mounted 7.62 minigun and 50 caliber machine gun, the Jolly helicopter is ready to further sanitize the objective area prior to the pickup. Vipers, providing crucial air coverage to provide fighters below with air superiority. In the next few minutes, you'll see the participating aircraft of the Combat Search and Rescue demonstration return to base. First, you'll see our two F-16s depart to the west towards Kelly Field. Then ends on the runway here at Randolph Air Force Base. And Jolly for the final bow. We'd like to thank our participants from the 512th Rescue Squadron, the 23rd Fighter Group, and the 182nd Fighter Squadron, as well as local support from the 12th Operations Group here at Randolph Air Force Base. None of what you see here would be possible without the continued support and partnership of this community and its citizens. These are just some of the normal operations that occur every day across the Air Force, the world's premier force for air, space, and cyberspace lethality. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our 2026 Integrated Air Power Combat Search and Rescue demonstration. We hope you have enjoyed our efforts to showcase a few of the wide-ranging combat capabilities of the United States Air Force and the combat air power of CSAR forces. If you have further questions about Air Force combat power, please stop by the static displays of our aircraft and meet your United States Air Force pilots. All players switch back, Air Boss frequency primary.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how about another huge round of applause for the Combat Search and Rescue demonstration? How cool was that? Wow. And there you see the A-10 Sandy 1 rolling out on the runway. We're so excited to have all of these players here with us. Even the F-16s remotely deployed over here from Kelly Field. And then all of these aircraft here now returning. Well, we're going to jump back in our next event. We're going to continue to turn the energy up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue to let freedom roar as we honor our wonderful country here. 250 years of freedom, our celebration and our theme all day long. We're going to let the A-10 clear the runway here, and we have our next performer about ready to go. And we'll have them. We're going to jump back in history just a little bit for you with our next performer. This aircraft was stationed right here at Randolph Air Force Base back in the day. I believe this very airframe even has time at this base from what I'm told. But the type certainly does. And we will see this aircraft here in just a minute. We'll tell you a lot more about it as it makes its way here. Now we're waiting for Sandy to clear the runway. One of the things that we do at an air show, in fact, the only thing that we have to do at any air show, especially this one here, the Great Texas Air Show 2026, the only thing we have to do is be safe. And that's what you see being demonstrated in front of you right here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're waiting for the A-10 to get the right clearance to clear the runway before our next performer departs. Now, we need your help to do that. You're part of our team. You can pick up anything on the ground, whether it's your trash or not. We want you to pick it up and put it in a receptacle. But look to the runway, ladies and gentlemen, departing right here, Greg Collier. Air shows the T-33 Shooting Star, Mr. Greg Collier, call sign Wired. Now he's flying the T-33 Shooting Star, the T-Bird, produced by Lockheed and made its first flight back in 1948. I want you to keep your eye on him as he circles back around. The T-33 was developed from the Lockheed P-80 or F-80, and it was used by the United States Air Force and the Navy. We'll talk a lot more about how it got built, how fast it was built, but just watch as Greg comes back and forth here. Look to the right, smoke on. Great opportunity to get a good picture of this historic aircraft right here. Now the T-33 continues to circle behind you, ladies and gentlemen. Greg has the smoke on. He'll approach from over your right shoulder. Watch it. Look for the distinctive wing configuration and layout of this beautiful and historic aircraft. You'll notice the tip tanks at the end of the wings help extend the range of this early jet aircraft jet trainer. As Greg pulls back on the stick and goes vertical, begins to roll to the left, you can see the canopy configuration and the seating configuration for two pilots. Much like you saw in the T-6 Texan 2 earlier, the instructor and the student sit one behind each other in the T-33. Randolph right here. Now watch as he comes back from your left to your right. What he'll show you here is the slow roll capability of this highly maneuverable jet aircraft. As Greg turns around high and to the right, watch he'll run into a maneuver he calls the lazy eight. Watch his smoke trace the shape of a figure eight in the sky as he comes around. Now, Greg Wired Collier is the founder and owner of Ace Maker Aviation. He's a native Californian, and he took his first flight at the age of 7. He's been hooked on aviation ever since, and he's been flying for over 4 decades after earning his license in 1982 while he was serving in the U.S. Army. After leaving the service, he worked keeping the skies safe for 27 years with the Federal Aviation Administration as an air traffic controller at Oakland Center in California. His passion for flying never left him as he continued to fly as a hobby and an occasional air show, flying the Beech T-34 Mentor. He eventually acquired a Soviet Bloc L-29 Delphine jet in 2003. Then he eventually was able to upgrade that to an L-39, the newer version. But one of his favorite jets as a kid was the Lockheed Shooting Star, America's first operational jet fighter and trainer. Now watch as Craig circles around high and to your left, brings that beautiful jet back here to show center. And you'll see he eventually acquired a T-33. He now owns 3 of them. Campaigns them around the world, frankly, but especially across the United States. Watch here, Ace Maker Air Shows from the right. From the right, this is Ace Maker Air Show. While he circles around, he would like to thank Concord Batteries, Strong Parachutes, Wheelan Lighting, and Jim at Airtronics for their continued support for Ace Maker Aviation. Folks, keep your eyes on the aircraft right here. As he dives in, he converts that altitude to airspeed. He lines up with the runway. He begins to level out. The airspeed is building. He'll pull back on the stick slightly and begin to roll the aircraft. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4-point hesitation roll. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. How cool is that? Greg showing you everything that this wonderful aircraft can do. Well, folks, if you haven't got your camera out yet, and if you still have film left in your phone, this would be the opportunity to get it out. Your best photo opportunity of this historic jet. Coming from your left to your right, this is Ace Maker Aviation T-33 Shooting Star and the Photo Pass. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for Ace Maker Aviation and Greg Collier's call sign Wired in his performance here today. He's going to circle back around the land. But ladies and gentlemen, how about a huge round of applause for Ace Maker and Greg Collier? Thank you so much. Well, folks, you've been here just a little bit, but it's time to put on some more sunscreen. Trying to stay hydrated. If you haven't done that recently, let me encourage you to do that. We couldn't do any of this without the help of our amazing sponsors, Methodist Northeast Healthcare, Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union, Silver Eagle Beverages, T-Mobile, Boeing, and CPS Energy. Without their help, we couldn't make any of this happen, and we are so excited to have all of those sponsors with us to help pull together this amazing air show. Now, as Greg continues to circle around, he's still got the smoke on. He's going to let you watch that jet now configured back in the dirty configuration as he lines up to land. We're going to take you to another historic jet. Now, I told you a little bit about this earlier. We talked about a Russian-made aircraft. Bomber from the 345th Bomb Squadron stationed at Dice Air Force Base, Texas.
Me acompaña un invitado muy especial, la suboficial a cargo de estandarizaciones y evaluaciones de la Academia Interamericana de las Fuerzas Aéreas, Sargento Segundo Amara Zapata. Sargento, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. ¿Nos podría contar, quizá mucha gente no sabe de la Academia Interamericana de las Fuerzas Aéreas. ¿Nos podrías contar un poco de la misión y también de su importancia?
Sí, claro que sí. Muchas gracias por tenerme aquí y darme este espacio para compartir. La Academia Interamericana de las Fuerzas Aéreas, mejor conocida como IAFA, está aquí en San Antonio, Texas, al sur del estado, en la base de Lackland. Nosotros somos una institución del Comando Aéreo de Educación y Entrenamiento, donde nuestra misión es poder entrenar, también donde entrenamos y compartimos el entrenamiento para líderes dinámicos para asegurarnos que podamos asegurar las Américas. Básicamente lo que somos es una escuela militar donde ofrecemos más de 30 cursos de la Fuerza Aérea de los Estados Unidos en español. Son cursos de liderazgo, de disciplina, seguridad, cibernética y también de búsqueda de rescate, instrucción y más. Nuestra misión es importante porque va más allá de solamente entrenar a personal de otros países, sino que tenemos una oportunidad principal donde podemos asegurarnos de que haya cooperación de seguridad y también toda la estabilidad de la región. He visto de primera mano cómo es que reunir a miembros de diferentes países fortalece las relaciones que son esenciales para trabajar juntos en un futuro.
Sí. Realmente es una misión muy importante. Y para que la gente te conozca un poquito mejor, ¿nos puedes contar sobre tu rol en la IAFA?
Sí, claro que sí. Actualmente estoy en una posición donde soy la suboficial a cargo de estandarizaciones y evaluaciones. Cuando llegué a IAFA en el 2022, llegué como instructora, donde di el curso especializado para instructores, pero también el de adiestramiento en el trabajo. Ahora trabajo en una posición en el grupo donde estoy a cargo de todos los instructores de la academia y me aseguro que todo el entrenamiento sea estandarizado, sea estructurado, justo y que cumplan con las normas y las regulaciones de la Fuerza Aérea.
Muy bien. Y también hablamos un poquito de esto antes del show, pero me habías contado que tú creciste no muy lejos de San Antonio. ¿Qué tan especial es ahora poder contribuir a esta gran misión justo en el estado donde creciste?
Sí, para mí es muy especial poder contribuir a esta misión justo aquí en el estado donde nací y crecí, porque crecer aquí me dio raíces, valores y un entendimiento, también un respeto para la seguridad regional. Ahora regresar aquí a IAFA en Texas ha sido una experiencia muy humilde y emocionante. Creciendo sufrí mucho acoso porque como mi primer idioma es el español, cuando hablaba inglés a veces pronunciaba las cosas mal o decía cosas incorrectamente y me hacían burla. Y eso fue una experiencia muy difícil. Sin embargo, ahora regresar aquí y poder cumplir con esta misión ha sido una experiencia espectacular porque ahora entiendo la diferencia que puedo utilizar mi primer idioma para ayudar a nuestra misión en IAFA, pero también a la Fuerza Aérea de los Estados Unidos y he logrado comprender y entender que ahora puedo hacer una diferencia real.
Sí, no, qué bonito. ¿Me podrías contar un poco de algunas cosas, como dijiste, que has podido lograr que a lo mejor una vez o nunca te imaginaste que podrías tener esta oportunidad?
Sí, he podido lograr diferentes cosas que nunca imaginé posibles. Gracias a mi trabajo he podido viajar a diferentes países, he podido entender diferentes culturas y estar en diferentes entornos. También desarrollar una mentalidad más abierta y flexible, así como utilizar mi primer idioma para poder aportar a esta misión. Inclusive tuve la oportunidad de tener una experiencia única donde mi esposo y yo logramos viajar a otro país, donde allí pudimos brindar apoyo lingüístico. Eso nos ayudó a trabajar con otros países, no solamente un país, sino que varios países para poder contribuir a nuestra misión para promover la interoperabilidad y sobre todo asegurarnos de la seguridad regional.
Wow, muy importante y qué bonito de poder servir con tu pareja también.
Sí.
¿Y qué le dirías a alguien que está a lo mejor en el servicio activo en este momento y le interesa saber más sobre ella?
Sí, para buscar nuestra página, uno puede buscarlo en las redes sociales de Facebook y pueden buscar la Academia Interamericana de las Fuerzas Aéreas por solamente poner IAAFA, nuestras siglas IAFA, o también al ir a la página de Google y hacer una búsqueda, buscan IAFA y sale la página directa a nuestra academia, donde van a encontrar información sobre nuestra misión, nuestra visión, también sobre nuestros cursos que ofrecemos y oportunidades para venir a ser parte de nuestra familia en IAFA.
Ok, muchas gracias. Y también hay algunas cosas o alguna otra cosa que le gustaría resaltar.
Sí, claro que sí. A todos los miembros de la Fuerza Aérea nos pertenece y tenemos que asistir cursos de PMI, que son los de educación militar profesional. Y mucha gente no sabe que como hablamos el español, tenemos la oportunidad de asistir a estos cursos aquí en IAFA. Si van a la página directa de la IAFA a través de Google, pueden encontrar información sobre el proceso de aplicación y requisitos que tiene que cumplir uno para poder aplicar y asistir a los cursos aquí en IAFA.
Ok, pues muchas gracias de nuevo, Sargento, y muchas gracias por haber estado aquí con nosotros. Y sí, esperamos que regreses y hablar después con nosotros.
Sí, claro que sí, muchas gracias.
Y seguimos con el gran espectáculo aéreo de las impresionantes demostraciones en el cielo.
Wow, that is absolutely something. And I think the service ceiling, when you're not trying to set a record, was a remarkable 43,000 feet in the day, and you could fly over 1,200 miles with a range. Obviously didn't have air-to-air refueling back in the day. Pretty impressive stuff, Jerry.
Let's give you a little bit of the vertical performance. Now remember, this is an 80-year-old fighter jet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we
he was done in 90 days.
Aircraft as we continue to let freedom roar here at the Great Texas Air Show 2026. Thank you. How about another huge round of applause?
Was beautifully restored by John Blanchett over about 16 years and a small fortune. It was taken in 2016 to Oshkosh. It entered all 4 categories where it qualified and won all 4 categories where it qualified. Unbelievable restoration.
That's really cool, Randy. And so let's talk about the MiG-17 in general for just a minute. Now, I know when the MiG-17 was an improved version of the MiG-15, but it was our primary nemesis in Southeast Asia against our F-4 Phantoms and those sort of things. It has a unique history. Now, I told the folks earlier that the MiG-17 played a role in bringing our warfighters home, our American and Allied warfighters home from Vietnam. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's kind of interesting. If you're sitting in the audience and you want to Google Have Drill, Have Donut. It was a program in 1967. It had culminated when the Israelis stole 3 MiG-17s and 2 MiG-21s and turned them over to the CIA. CIA took them out to Area 51 and flew them to learn how to fight them and how to kill them. We were fighting them in Vietnam, and we were having about a 2-to-1 success rate over the MiG at the time. By the end of that program, and when we integrated through what became the Fighter Weapons School Top Gun, when they integrated that with lessons learned, our kill ratio by the end of Vietnam was 14-to-1, so it was a very successful program.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. We're going to let the Vampire taxi by the announcer stand here in just a minute, so we'll take a short break to do that. But, Randy, when we come back, let's talk a little bit about how we took those lessons learned downrange. Now, folks, as Jerry Conley comes by,
design. Originally it was the same taper all the way down, but they wanted to make the aircraft turn better than anything in the world. And from 1957 to 1974, when the General Dynamics F-16 first flew, now Lockheed F-16, it was the tightest turning thousand feet a minute. For its day, that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. So let's go back to those secret, highly classified tests out with Have Drill and Have Donut. So we flew against it. I believe we brought in every or the best of the best across the Air Force and the Navy, the best flight crews that flying our current day fighters, and we put them up against the MiG once we learned to fly it, and every one of them lost their first contest against the MiG.
That's correct. We lost every first contest with across the board, and you can read about it in Have Drill, Have Donut, but every single one of them we lost our first engagement. The aircraft doesn't just turn well, it doesn't bleed energy. The aircraft can maintain below 10,000 feet almost an 8G turn rate without bleeding energy. So if the pilot corners the speed of 350 to 400 knots, he can continue that speed around and around until he can't take it anymore and take the aircraft right into a vertical maneuver, which is almost unheard of in that era.
Well, and there we have Bill Culberson from Fighter Jets Incorporated demonstrating that minimum radius turn and full afterburner. Now, Randy, once we figured out what worked and what didn't, we found some weaknesses in the airplane. We had a problem, even though our fighters, our cockpit crews, eventually they lost that first battle, but we learned how to defeat the aircraft. But now we had to teach the rest of the fleet, the rest of the Air Force, how to learn those tactics.
That's exactly right. And if you've ever watched the original Top Gun movie, in the very beginning of the movie, it talks about how they started a weapons school because the fighter pilots had lost the skill to dogfight. Well, that wasn't exactly true. What we were doing, that was classified when that first movie came out, but a program was put together to start teaching our guys how to fight the MiGs during the Vietnam War based on what we had learned through Have Drill, Have Donut. And that program became the fighter weapons school for the Navy, known as Top Gun. If you watch the sequences, there's a couple of scenes in the movie where they're topping the top of a staircase, and if you look past the actors, there's MiG-21s and MiG-17s on the walls representing the teaching skills and the teaching kill ratio during Vietnam of the school.
So in the end, you talked about the kill ratio improving and us building the Top Gun school, but also in the Air Force, we ended up with the fighter weapons school, the test pilot school, as well as red flag.
The U.S. Air Force, of course, they integrated into what became the fighter weapons school in William Tell Meet as well. The aircraft, though, was also used really to push Congress toward building what we call the bantamweight fighter.
Well, we told you we're celebrating Let Freedom Roar all day with 250 years of freedom here in the United States. And you didn't walk in the door today as my guest thinking that you'd walk away with some amazing learning about how a MiG-17 brought our very own American warfighters home. But look at that aircraft as it rolls out. Just what a beautiful restoration of the MiG-17. And like Randy said, that is that particular variant, the only one flying in the world today of that variant. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it. Randy, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more huge round of applause for Fighter Jets Incorporated? All right, we appreciate that. Hey, it's time to put on some more sunscreen, and it's time to get a drink, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to go home just as healthy when you got here. Please don't get hangry. We want you to stop by our concession stands for tasty eats and treats. Our Great Texas Air Show vendors will be serving you culinary and confectionery delights all day. Don't forget the souvenirs. Stop by our awesome vendors to get something fabulous to help commemorate this great day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next performers are on the runway. Smoke is on. Ladies and gentlemen, look left, but at the same time, look right. Your eyes are going to hurt, but here they come. This is Redline Air Shows. Well, ladies and gentlemen, out in front of you, a father and son, two-man close formation aerobatic performance team that we all affectionately know as Redline Air Shows. Ken Reeder is the number one ship. He's the dad. Flying number two is his son, Austin Reeder. Together they make up Redline Air Shows, flying the beautiful Vans RB-8 aircraft. A two-seat tandem aircraft, if you see them flying high into the Texas sky. They're extremely versatile and the most popular amateur aircraft ever. Amateur built. These are kit airplanes that Ken has built himself. This aircraft capable of speeds up to 230 miles an hour. It can land short and slow at 55 miles an hour, enabling them to access almost any airport. Now watch the unique formation skills that you see here in front of you today. Much like what is taught here at Randolph each and every day to our military aviators. These flights will fly in opposing directions, and now the tactically challenging rejoin right in front of you here this morning. The aircraft has a 4-hour endurance before needing fuel, giving them a 700 nautical mile range. Watch here as they now back in formation come from your left to your right. Now flying the lead aircraft, Ken Reeder, born and currently lives in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's been flying for 38 years with more than 15,000 flying hours. He's currently an airline pilot. He's a multi-engine flight instructor with both land and seaplanes, and he's also an aerobatic instructor. He's an avid aircraft builder, having completed 5, get that 5 different of these Vans RV-8 custom aircraft. He owns a property management company and operates a construction business in the greater Cincinnati area. And at a very young age, he was inspired to pursue aviation by the United States Navy Blue Angels when he saw them at an air show much like this one, at the time flying F-4 Phantoms. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, here comes Redline Air Shows. Now watch that unique maneuver, ladies and gentlemen. They went from side by side with a 90-degree turn. They're now flying in trail. Watch as they continue to move off to your left. Flying the wingman is Austin Reeder. He's Ken's son. He's been flying for about 15 years. He works full-time as a production manager for KCR Construction. Austin and Ken have built the aircraft you see Austin flying in. And in fact, when they're not at practice, as Austin was learning to fly, the RV-8 and one very similar to it is the very aircraft he's been learning to fly. But now they are both expert formation flyers. Watch here as they continue to roll and stay in opposite formation. One upside down, one right side up. Now watch here as they continue to fly formation in trail. As they climb to the sky, watch as they let the airspeed bleed. They stand on the left rudder. Sequential left hammerheads. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand for Redline Air Shows? How fun would that be to chase your dad through the sky by mirroring every maneuver he does? Well, that's what you see Austin doing here today. Now watch as they continue to roll and turn these aircraft, continually in motion, demonstrating amazing formation and in-trail flying skills here by Ken and Austin Reeder of Redline Air Shows. Now, they couldn't get down the road without the help of some amazing sponsors. Those include the Hartzell Propeller and Hartzell Engine Technologies. They use the advanced structural composite propeller, providing superior performance and efficiency. JB Aircraft Engine Service supplies their engines. Champion Aerospace for magnetos, spark plugs, oil filters, and engine accessories. Watch Now watch closely here, ladies and gentlemen, as they turn 90 degrees from their original heading. Look at that cross maneuver. Woo! Only Redline Air Shows does it like this, ladies and gentlemen, with precision, performance, and they make it look so graceful and beautiful. Watch as they come back now, head on, opposite direction. This is father-son, nose to nose. Come on, Randolph. How about that? That is awesome. Upside down, head on fast, and then immediately pull to the vertical. Now I want you to watch this rejoin. You see the aircraft on the left roll right side up, but the one on the right completes a loop and rolls right in on position. Very challenging technical skill to accomplish. Watch that. Come on, how about a huge round of applause right there? Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is way harder than it looks, and they execute it to perfection. My goodness. Ken and Austin Reeder is only Redline Air Shows can do it. The band family of aircraft that Ken and Austin fly, like we said, they're home-built kits. The band's aircraft line, a series of aircraft, are the most popular home-built aircraft in the country. We talked about Ken building both of these aircraft. Watch now as he fly these highly modified Vans RV-8 aircraft from over your shoulder out front. Now watch as they pull to the vertical. They're going to roll opposite directions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Redline Air Show's tribute to you, to each and every veteran in the audience today, to our active duty service members and all of their families who sacrifice alongside of them. Ladies and gentlemen, Redline Air Show's tribute to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't got that distinct memory and a picture of the Redline Air Show aircraft, they're going to give you one more opportunity. They're talking to our amazing air boss here on the stand. Said, hey, we got enough gas. How about one more pass? And graciously, Wayne and James have agreed to let them do that. So watch, keep your eyes on them as they circle around behind you. But they're going to come back by. You're going to want to get your cameras out. Capture this memory right here. This is Redline Air Shows and their tribute photo pass to you. Ladies and gentlemen, coming over your right shoulder, Ken and Austin Reeder, Redline Air Shows. And look at that, even some bombs from our Tora Pyro team out there in the field. Who knew the Vans RV-8s could blow up our airfield, but they did it somehow here today. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for Redline Air Shows. How about a huge round of applause for these two fine gentlemen? Wow. What a performance there today. Now, they're going to circle back and land, and I believe that they're going to do their best if they can to taxi down and taxi in front of you. When they come by, do me a favor. Please stand up and wave, throw your hat at them, wave at them, shake your umbrella, whatever you need to do. But let them know how much we greatly appreciate. All of our performers are going to try to do that today, to come by and see you, taxi in front of you. So thank them as they come by. It really does mean a lot to them to see you as they come by, and let them know how much you appreciate them being here. Well, we are going to transition to our next performer here in just a minute. Now, we're still waiting for them to transition. We're waiting for Austin and Ken to land here. Helicopter!
and those who have given their Mini jets can turn tight, mini jets can roll quickly, and mini jets can climb fast, but not many can slide. Watch now from behind as the Raptor flies over, pulls straight up into the vertical and brings his throttles to near idle. Then under complete control, the Raptor will actually slide backwards. The Raptor's slow speed handling characteristics are phenomenal. Watch now as Captain Turno repositions the aircraft to crowd right, reduces the power, slowing the Raptor down to less than 90 knots, and loads up on high angle of attack. After the pass, you'll once again feel the raw power of the jet as Captain Turno lights those afterburners and climbs straight into the vertical. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, the Raptor's slow speed pass. The F-22 possesses the capability to reach speeds and altitudes that make it virtually untouchable, even without using its afterburners. Accelerating from 90 knots to over 600, Captain Turtle will now roll inverted in preparation for the split-ass reposition and high-speed pass, showcasing just a fraction of the aircraft's super cruise and full-speed capability. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for Freedom's Thunder on the high-speed pass. The F-22 will now set up to perform a Hoover pitch. This maneuver is a double night bench separated by an inverted tuck, followed by a pitch to line up in preparation for
Gracias por seguir aquí con nosotros. Estamos muy afortunados de tener aquí con nosotros el sargento tercero Angie Mercado del batallón local de reclutamiento de la Armada. Sargento, muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Hola Vanessa, muchas gracias por la invitación y gracias por dejarme representar la 5ª Brigada del Batallón de Reclutamiento de San Antonio.
Claro que sí, estamos muy agradecidas de que estés aquí con nosotros. Me imagino que hay muchas personas aquí que a lo mejor están pensando en unirse a la Armada. ¿Tienen usted un perfil típico que buscan, de la persona que buscan reclutar?
Sí, de hecho nosotros tratamos de buscar personas entre los 17 a los 42 años que tengan ganas de cambiar su vida con aspiraciones a pertenecer a un equipo más grande, que hayan terminado su educación secundaria, pero más que todo que quieran utilizar la Armada como un paso hacia seguir su carrera, así sea en la universidad o así sea para nosotros entrenarlos.
Claro. ¿Y qué es lo que distingue la Armada de otras ramas militares?
Nosotros somos la rama más grande, por lo consecuente tenemos la más habilidad de darles más trabajos. Tenemos más de 200 trabajos a los que pueden pertenecer y nuestros propios soldados pueden cambiar de un trabajo a otro si no les gusta. También por esta misma razón, mientras ustedes están en la Armada pueden estudiar, pueden tener seguridad económica obviamente y ganar experiencia y liderazgo, disciplina y la capacidad de resolver problemas, que estas son habilidades para toda la vida.
Claro que sí. ¿Y por qué recomendaría a quienes están interesados en el servicio militar que lo consideren en la Armada?
Claro que sí. Lo que la gente no sabe es que nuestro plan número 1 es la educación. Entonces nosotros ofrecemos a mucha gente la habilidad de pagar por la colegiatura, por la universidad, lo llamamos tuition assistant o becas de entradas, y también porque personalmente la Armada me ha dado las herramientas y el entrenamiento necesario para liderar soldados en cualquier tipo de misión, cosas que esa experiencia no la hubiese adquirido en ningún otro lugar.
Y muy importante, por seguro. ¿Nos podrías contar sobre algunas oportunidades especiales que existen para los soldados que hablan español?
Claro que sí, para los soldados que hablan español, siempre cuando lleguen a una unidad se van a encontrar con más gente que hablan español e inglés y los pueden poner en posiciones donde ellos sean los traductores de esa unidad, como yo estoy ahorita mismo en mi estación. Y también quiero decirle a todas las personas que están interesadas en el ejército y no hablan mucho español, que tenemos un programa donde los podemos mandar a aprender inglés. Perdón, las personas que no saben mucho inglés, se llama ESL, y es para hacerlos exitosos dentro de la Armada mientras están en su carrera y cuando salgan también.
Y muy importante mencionar esto porque me imagino que hay personas que no saben que hay un programa donde pueden aprender el inglés antes de entrar a la Armada.
Claro que sí, el programa de ESL que ofrece la Armada es aquí, de hecho en San Antonio, es en la base de Lackland. El programa dura 16 semanas y ya pertenecerían a la Armada como soldados normal, simplemente que estarían yendo al colegio a tomar las clases.
Me contaba también que usted viene de otro país y tal vez me estaba explicando que usted también aprendió a hablar inglés para entrar a la Armada, ¿sí?
Sí, yo aprendí a hablar inglés en el high school. Aprendí, de hecho, cuando yo entré a la Armada todavía no tenían este programa, en el 2016 no tenían este programa, que ahora de hecho sí lo tienen. Y para mí en la high school fue un poquito más difícil porque me mandaron a tomar clases regulares. Con un programa así, obviamente los mandamos a tomar clases nada más de ese programa. Entonces hubiese sido maravilloso si lo hubiesen tenido en ese entonces.
Claro. ¿Alguna otra cosa que le gustaría resaltar?
Claro que sí. A las personas que están interesadas en ingresar a la Armada, me gustaría que por favor se acercaran a la base de reclutamiento más cercana a ellos, porque para eso estamos nosotros los reclutas, para instruirles, guiarles y darles información de acerca de todos los programas y todas las carreras que tenemos.
¿Hay alguna edad que recomienden que se preparen los que están interesados a lo mejor a unirse?
Sí, desde los 17 años. Yo les diría no esperen hasta que tengan 42 años, porque de hecho tenemos muchas personas que quieren ingresar y me han dicho en la calle, yo quería ingresar cuando estaba más joven. No esperen hasta el final, lleguen ahora desde los 17 años para nosotros poder ponerlos en la Armada.
Muy importante. Y ya que estamos aquí, ¿qué es lo que más espera ver aquí o alguna cosa que le gustaría ver?
Sí, de hecho, siempre mi sueño había sido conocer un C-5, que es el avión más grande que tenemos en la Fuerza Aérea. De hecho, hoy lo vi, me tomé fotos, yo saltaba de C-17 y C-13, pero nunca había visto un C-5 y hoy tuve la oportunidad de verlo. Entonces fue amazing.
Wow, y tomaste fotos y ¿qué más has podido ver aquí?
Todo el tipo de artillería que tiene la Fuerza Aérea definitivamente es algo que nunca había visto en mi vida. De hecho, estando en la Armada por 10 años, nunca había tenido la oportunidad de venir a un airshow, pero ya estando aquí ya puedo venir todos los años si quiero.
¿Me puedes contar de algunas otras oportunidades que has podido lograr mientras que has estado en la Armada?
Claro que sí. Yo de hecho me enlisté en la Armada porque no quería ir a la universidad, ¿cierto? Pero estando en la Armada ya obtuve mi primer título. Estoy trabajando mi segundo título en este momento y voy a seguir trabajando así porque la Armada nos paga para ir a la escuela. Entonces, si queremos utilizar el dinero, siempre va a estar ahí.
Wow. Es muy importante de tener esa oportunidad de poder tomar ventaja de todo eso, ¿verdad?
Claro que sí.
¿Qué más, qué tiene usted planeado para su futuro en la Armada?
De hecho, ahorita estoy queriéndome pasar a ser recluta a tiempo completo. Me gustó la carrera de ser recluta. Yo soy ingeniera. Normalmente en la Armada hago ingeniería, pero ahora estando de recluta por 2 años ya quiero ser recluta a tiempo completo, o sea, quiero terminar mi carrera en la Armada como recluta.
¿Me puedes hablar un poquito? Dijiste que estabas en otra carrera, ¿sí puedes hablar un poquito de todo
ingeniería?
eso?
Claro que sí. La ingeniería para mí, yo llegué sin saber absolutamente nada, nada como operar máquinas pesadas para construcción ni nada. La Armada me enseñó cómo utilizar todo tipo de máquinas pesadas y ahora mismo estoy poniendo la mayoría de ingenieros en mi estación porque les gusta lo que he hecho. Nos da la facilidad de trabajar con otras ramas también, con otras fuerzas armadas como la Fuerza Aérea, la Naval y he hecho muchas operaciones en conjunto con ellos, de hecho.
Muy bien. ¿Alguna otra cosa que querías?
No le tengan miedo a los reclutas. Nosotros estamos aquí para darles información, estamos aquí para guiarlos. Entrar a una estación de reclutas no es simplemente me quiero meter, simplemente va a ser qué podemos hacer para ayudarle a seguir su carrera, qué podemos instruirlo o ver si a usted le funciona hacer la Armada a tiempo completo o tiempo parcial.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias por haber estado aquí con nosotros, Sargento. Y es todo lo que tenemos para ustedes. Y muchas gracias de nuevo. Seguimos con el show del gran espectáculo aéreo.
Ladies and gentlemen, your United States Air Force Heritage Flight. We hope you enjoyed watching and taking pride in this rare display of more than 70
can still check out our amazing STEM exhibits. Hangar 42, Hangar 44. There's tons of stuff in there. You do not want to miss it. Young and old alike. It's not just for kids. Come by and check it out. Our STEM exhibits in Hangar 42 and Hangar Well, folks, don't forget that we'd like to recognize all of our Gold Star families who are in attendance today. We thank each and every one of you for remaining part of our military community, and we honor the service of your loved ones. Thank you for being part of our family. Now, if you've misplaced anything or you have found something that's not yours, visit any one of our information booths. That's where our Lost and Found is. We'd appreciate your help with that. Again, Lost and Found is located at any of our information booths. And for our safety and your safety, just a reminder, the entire air show area is a no smoking area, except in several designated smoking areas. So I want you to look for the signs that say designated smoking area throughout the venue. Those are the only places that you can smoke. That's a safety issue, ladies and gentlemen. We have lots of fuel, lots of oil, things that catch fire. So help us with that. The only place you can smoke is in our designated smoking areas that are denoted by the signs that you'll find throughout the area. Be sure to stay hydrated. We thank you for attending this great show. We want you to enjoy the festivities while staying safe and hydrated. Free water is located at the water stations throughout the venue. Water is also available for purchase from the concession stand. Make sure to drink plenty of fluids throughout the day. Remember, your safety matters to us. Let's have a fantastic time while keeping cool and hydrated. If you feel unwell or notice any signs of heat-related illness, seek assistance immediately. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and enjoy the air show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as Doc Winters has the P-51 on the runway, he'll taxi clear here momentarily. I want you to direct your attention to the runway right here at Show Center. The beautiful Edge 540 in the Red Bull markings is taking the runway. That is none other than Kirby Chambliss. I told you earlier, Kirby does something on departure that nobody else does. I want you to watch closely as he gets ready to go. He's on the runway. He's ready to go. If you've got a camera, turn it to the runway. Ladies and gentlemen, presented by Red Bull, this is Kirby Chambliss. I told you. How about that? The infamous signature Cobra maneuver by Mr. Kirby Chambliss on departure. Born in Corpus Christi, Texas, he now lives between Tucson and Phoenix on the Flying Crown Ranch. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most accomplished aerobatic pilots in the world. Here he is, Kirby Chambliss. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kirby Chambliss at the ripe old age of 21 was flying a corporate aircraft for La Quinta Motor Inn when the chief pilot looked at him and said, Kirby, what are you going to do if this airplane ever ends up upside down with the CEO in the back? We want to make sure that you can get him on the ground safely. Well, that led to Kirby taking some aerobatic training, and as they say, the rest is history. That led to what you see in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kirby Chambliss. By the age of 24, he was the youngest commercial pilot at Southwest Airlines, and at 28, he was a captain, but that never lost his love for aerobatics. Kirby continues to compete internationally, aerobatically, and at air shows all over the world. He's one of the most recognized and accomplished aerobatic pilots in the world. To date, he's accumulated 13 medals in world competition. By the early 2000s, he was recognized as one of the top 15 aerobatic pilots in the world, and he was asked to compete in the Red Bull Air Race. Ladies and gentlemen, flying in front of you is two-time Red Bull Air Race world champion, Kirby Chambliss. Watch right here as Kirby pulls the stick back, goes into the vertical, rolls the aircraft. Hesitation rolls going straight up, ladies and gentlemen. Now watch as he lets the airspeed lead. The aircraft slows. He stands on the left rudder pedal, ladies and gentlemen, coming right back down now on the 45-degree down line. Snap rolls, Kirby Chambliss like nobody else can do it right here. Kirby resides on the Flying Crown Ranch between Tucson and Phoenix with his wife and fellow pilot Kelly and their daughter Carly. He has a hangar and a runway in the backyard. Kirby is only a few steps away from hopping in one of his several airplanes. Be sure to check out the hangar on the website to view Kirby's fleet. Now, you can imagine being part of the Red Bull team in the Red Bull Air Force. When Kirby's not flying, he enjoys jumping out of airplanes and perfecting his skydiving skills. Now, we've asked him, why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? And Kirby always answers, because I have a perfectly good parachute. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kirby flying the airplane sideways down the runway. His tribute to you, all the folks here at the Great Texas Air Show 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your eye on Kirby low over the runway, smoke on. He settles down towards the runway, and whoop, here we go one more time. Pull it up, roll the aircraft, and right back down. Kirby'd like to thank his sponsors, Tempest, Goodyear, Concord Battery, and of course, he's presented by Red Bull. Ladies and gentlemen, watch as Kirby climbs high into this beautiful Texas sky to the left. Watch him convert that altitude into airspeed and energy as he dives right back into you right here at Show Center. Ladies and gentlemen, presented by Red Bull, this is Kirby Chambliss. How about that, Randolph? End over end, tumbling that aircraft in the clear Texas sky as only Kirby Chambliss can do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras out. We've got one more pass coming from Kirby's. He'll come from your right to your left. One last opportunity to catch that great memory of this beautiful Red Bull Edge 540. Ladies and gentlemen, departing on the runway, the Red Line Air Show team headed out as Kirby circles around to land. This wraps up the performance for Kirby and the Red Bull Edge 540. How about a huge round of applause for Mr. Kirby Chambliss? Wow. I'm telling you, you saw something very special here today, all day long, including that performance for Mr. Kirby Chambliss. Well, folks, let me have your attention, please. Leia, please have your attention. We have an ID recovered sort of near show center, just to the south edge. If you face the runway to the left of the announcer stand in the grass area, Mr. Robert Tafoya. Robert Tafoya, we have your ID. To reclaim your ID, make your way to Show Center. There's a security forces tent that's blue. It says First Command right at the gap in the fence near Show Center in the announcer trailer. Come get your ID, Mr. Robert Tafoya. You can recover your ID at the security forces tent near Show Center. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as some of our other performers are making their way out to the runway, they're going to depart. They'll be airborne, and we'll get ready for some next sections of our wonderful air show here today. Wanted to remind you to please come visit our science, technology, engineering, and math displays. They're in hangars 42 and 44. The exhibits contain hands-on activities, demonstrations, and games that showcase the limitless possibilities of STEM and the exciting world of aerospace. There's a ton of stuff over there, folks. Too long to list it all, but each exhibit offers unique insights into the respective fields of each booth or provider. Those provide interactive experiences and valuable information to each of you attending the event. If you haven't been there yet, let me encourage you to please go by. You don't want to miss this. There's some very, very unique things that you want to see over there. We also want to thank our amazing sponsors, Methodist Northeast Healthcare, Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union, Silver Eagle Beverages, T-Mobile, and Boeing and CPS Energy. We're so excited to have each and every one of these community partners. We couldn't put together an air show without the help of some of these amazing community partners that also include Freedom Behavioral Health, Hunt Military Communities, IHG, Operation Sunscreen, Sondermind, Supermax Aircraft Detailing, SeaWorld San Antonio, the Abrams Real Estate Ties team, PP Racing Fuels, and all of these contribute to this wonderful air show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, up next is a very unique performer as we continue to let freedom roar as we honor 250 years of freedom here in the United States of America. Only here at the Great Texas Air Show 2026 will you see this accumulation of amazing performers, and the next one is no exception. Mini Jet Air Shows is the only day and night air show in the country using full pyrotechnics and over 66,000 lights. Well, today it's in the daylight. You're going to get to see the jet itself up close. Now, this jet is not very big, hence the name, Mini Jet Air Shows. Mr. Tom Larkin, now based in Florida, is on his way to you. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're facing the runway, direct your attention to the right. The aircraft is beginning its takeoff roll. Ladies and gentlemen, here he comes, Mr. Tom Larkin and Mini Jet Air Shows. Look close. It's not very big, but it's going to go really fast. Tom will be performing a cross-section of maneuvers that he used to train fighter pilots as an instructor in the Air Force. The maneuvers are a combination of loops, rolls, point rolls, Humpty bumps, whipperdills, high G demonstration turns, and vertical rolls. And all of these maneuvers are still being used during aerial dogfighting and surface attack by today's military pilots. Now, as Tom goes straight up and straight down today, he'll be climbing and descending in excess of 12,000 feet per minute. That means Tom has to judge when to start to pull out above the ground while he's descending at almost 200 feet per second. The high G turn you're going to see at the end, Tom will show you 6 times the force of gravity where he's turning at over 30 degrees per second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Tom has circled around behind you. The aircraft is behind your right shoulder. He's going to dive in from the right to the left. You're going to want to get an up-close and personal look at this beautiful jet. Tom Larkin coming in from the right, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Florida. This is Mini Jet Air Shows. Now, as Tom shows you the amazing capabilities of this very unique jet, he caught the flying bug early from his father shortly after he was born. He did start flying radio control models in high school, and he got his pilot's license in just 62 days at the ripe old age of 19 years old. After graduating top of his class after college as an instructor pilot in the T-38 at Reese Air Force Base, he later went on to fly the F-15C model at 22 combat missions in northern Iraq. After that, he was an instructor in the AT-38 and awarded Instructor of the Year. He left the Air Force in 2000 and now is a 737 captain for a major airline. predicted, this aircraft is 1,000 pounds lighter and 60 miles an hour faster than an Indy race car. Now, I want you to look closely at this beautiful jet as he comes back from your left to your right. It's beautiful red, white, and blue, the colors of the United States of America. This aircraft has no paint on it. That is a vinyl wrap, just like you might have on your high-end sports car. Now, shortly, Tom is going to show you some of the turning capabilities of this aircraft. This is a fully aerobatic jet able to withstand 6 times the force of gravity positive G's and 3 times the force of gravity 3 negative G's. And Tom is the only performer flying surface-level air shows in this type jet in the world today. Hey, Tom, it's Rob on the stand. Let's go to the cockpit. How do you hear us, sir?
I hear you loud and clear, boy, by having a good time today, flying for the folks in San Antonio.
Well, folks, the crowd is loving your performance. All the folks are on their feet, standing and cheering. Tom, you're looking great.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be back here at the 2-time champion deal. And just welcome back to the San Antonio area. And I'm going to come around at full speed. Full speed, so I'm going to do my mid-radius IG turn for 16 right to the crowd.
Awesome. We're looking forward to that, Tom. We just talked about how many G's you could pull. Let's see it in action right here.
And this will be my last pass, so folks, if you got your cameras ready, I'm going to come in and squat 16s on this little airplane. That's a big thing right there.
6 times the force of gravity, ladies and gentlemen. How about a huge round of applause for Tom Larkin and the mini jet?
Come on and now you're trying to tell there's a lot more performance coming up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Tom circles high and to the right, you're going to want to get your cameras out. This will be your best photo opportunity of the day. Great chance to get that wonderful memory of this very unique and very capable aircraft that's helping us celebrate Let Freedom Roar and honoring America 250 years. Oh, wow. Well, this is the last one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for Mini Jet Air Shows. And Tom Larkin, like I said, he is taxiing in front of you, so be sure to wave and let him know how much we appreciate him being here. Don't forget that we have some wonderful concessions here for you. We don't want you to get hangry. That's the worst thing to be at an air show. Be sure to stop by our concession stands for tasty eats and treats. Our great Texas Air Show vendors will be serving you culinary and confectionery delights all day long. And don't forget, the souvenirs that you can get here are unlike anywhere else. Stop by our awesome vendors to get something fabulous to help commemorate this great day. And like I told you earlier, this is your one rare opportunity to knock something off your Christmas shopping list right here today. You've got that aviation lover in your life. Let's get them knocked off. You have the opportunity to do that right here today. Folks, we again would like to recognize all of our Gold Star fans.
awakened with most of the fleet peacefully anchored within the confines of the harbor. They experienced the roar of the engines and the sounds of the bombs as the Imperial Japanese Navy approaches. And with the break in formation, launches the first wave of 189 fighters and bombers from Japan's first air fleet, led by Captain Fushida. The unprovoked surprise attack was so complete that the coded success signal, Tora, 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 meaning tiger, 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 was sent back to the carrier task force before the first bomb fell. A single remote radar station had spotted the incoming raiders, but mistook them for a flight of B-17s due in from the mainland. The B-17s arrive and, like America herself, find themselves in a war that had not yet been declared. The attack was from the Japanese aircraft carriers, Akagi, Akaga, Hiru, Soru, and the two new carriers, the Shokuku and the Suikuku. The plan was simple: destroy the Pacific Fleet. The raid lasted for a little over 2 horrific and gruesome hours. Yes, you have a front row seat at the Pacific Theater as the story of the attack on Pearl Harbor unfolds right in front of you. When the first bombs began to fall, pilots all over the island jumped into action. At Wheeler Field, Lieutenant Philip Rasmussen woke to the sound of bombs, jumping out of bed, strapping on a .45 caliber pistol over his purple pajamas, and ran to a working Curtiss P-36 Hawk. All aircraft on the flight lines were ordered wingtip to wingtip on alert for days, guns loaded, except for this Sunday morning. Right now, front center is our P-36 Hawk being chased by the Japanese Zero. The Zeros and Vels bombed the exposed airplanes. Most of them were on fire or destroyed, except for a couple of P-36 Hawks. Rasmussen was joined by 4 more P-36 pilots: Lewis Sanders, Harry Brown, Gordon Sterling, and Malcolm Mike Moore. They took off to engage the attacking Japanese and managed to shoot down a few of their Zeros, Vels, and Kates. The number of enemy aircraft were incredibly overwhelming. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the island, Kenneth Taylor and George Welsh were just returning from an all-night dinner, dance, and poker party. These brave pilots, still in their formal dress clothes, raced to a couple of P-40 Warhawks and got them fueled and armed. They took off. They quickly found themselves in the middle of a real battle. These two pilots caught up with Japanese close to Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field and engaged the Zeros, Vals, and Kates with rounds from their 30 caliber machine guns. However, they quickly ran out of ammunition. Luckily, they were able to land at Wheeler Field, which is near the center of the island. Right now, front and center is a Japanese Zero. They refueled and reloaded with 30 and 50 caliber ammo. They took off once again to fight the Japanese. The two pilots are credited with downing a total of 6 Japanese warplanes before their own planes were disabled. Both pilots received a Distinguished Service Cross for their actions that infamous day. A total of 502 U.S. planes were on the ground at the beginning of the attack. Sadly, just 155 aircraft lay on the ground in various stages of disrepair. Tora, Tora, Tora! Yes, a Kate torpedo bomber front and center right now. The first wave of 189 Japanese Zeros and Vals and Kates hammered Hawaii for almost an hour. Then came the second wave, an additional 171 aircraft to continue the strafing, bombing, and dropping of torpedoes for yet another 70 minutes. That's a total of 360 enemy warplanes. As the attack proceeded at Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field, the devastation was horrifying. On the eastern edge of Ford Island, in the center of the harbor, 9 battleships lay at berth. The California, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Tennessee, Maryland, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Utah, and the Arizona. Luckily, at the time, our 3 Pacific aircraft carriers were out at sea. First, the Japanese hit with Kate torpedo bombers. The initial wave of Kates hit 5 of our battleships: the Oklahoma, California, Nevada, West Virginia, and the Utah. These Kates were specially equipped with shallow-running torpedoes, specifically designed for the attack on Pearl Harbor. You see, the shallow waters at Pearl Harbor would not allow the use of normal deep-running torpedoes, which leaves no question that this was a well-thought-out and premeditated surprise attack. Then came the bow dive bombers, armed with 1,700 pounds of armor-busting projectiles, originally made for 16-inch battleship guns, but were converted to aerial bombs. These planes dived down onto the Nevada and the Arizona. Anti-aircraft fire veered the valves away from the Nevada on the first wave. But unfortunately, the Arizona was not that lucky. A bomb from a Kate torpedo bomber stabbed the Arizona through her forward magazines and exploded, torching off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder. Sailors on the Nevada watched in horror as the Arizona jumped 20 feet in the air and broke in two, forever entrapping 1,178 American servicemen in an underwater tomb. The ship sank in less than 3 minutes. And still today, she remains at the bottom of the harbor in a watery grave, crying black tears as a reminder to all of those who lost their lives that infamous day. All over the island, soldiers were bringing their weapons to bear and fight anything they could get working. Their 45 caliber pistols are Springfield rifles. In some cases, our soldiers were able to get 30 and 50 caliber belt-fed machine guns into action, bringing down numerous marauding Japanese Zeros, Vals, and Kates. At Marine Corps Air Station Iwa, Private First Class Melvin Thompson was on guard duty when 9 Zeros attacked the base. He stepped out of his guard shack, he drew his 45 caliber pistol, and he began firing on the enemy airplanes. A Japanese pilot, Yoshio Shiga, saw Thompson firing back at them. Years later, Shiga remembered Thompson's tenacity and fighting spirit, describing the lone Marine as the greatest American I've ever seen. Yes, we have taken you back. December 7, 1941. Meanwhile, at Bellows Airfield on the northeastern coast of the island, more U.S. Army pilots are racing to their P-40s. Unfortunately, Japanese Zeros appeared at the same time and started strafing runs. One P-40 pilot was killed as he stepped into his cockpit. 2 others were shot down just as they got off the ground. The flight of 12 B-17s coming from the mainland finally arrive and are immediately attacked by the Zeros. Unfortunately, in all the confusion, the B-17s are shot at by friend and foe. The bright crews landed wherever they could. One of them in a pineapple field not far from Hickam Field. A B-17 pilot, Major Landon, trying to land, said, "What a hell of a way to enter war. Out of gas, unarmed, and no place to land." Amazingly, 8 of those B-17s actually made it to Hickam Field. At the conclusion of the surprise Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, more than half of America's naval fleet had been destroyed or damaged. Nearly 2,400 Americans were killed, over 1,200 wounded, and at the time, 960 people were missing. 188 aircraft were destroyed, 159 damaged. Just 155 aircraft lay on the ground. Our greatest naval base lay in ruins, along with our complacency. The following day, December 8, 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt announced our entry into World War II with these words to Congress and the citizens of the United States and the world. The 44 months of fighting that followed, the United States sank every one of the Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers that were part of Pearl Harbor Task Force. Nagasaki, the city where the special armor blessing bombs were made, was destroyed by a U.S. atom bomb on August 9, 1945. And a little less than a month later, when the Japanese surrender document was signed on September 2nd, among the U.S. warships present in Tokyo Bay was our battleship, the West Virginia. Would you please bow your head and join me in a moment of silence in memory of all of those who lost their lives that infamous day. Thank you. Thank you. We do not mean to glorify war by this demonstration. We simply honor a time when our nation was strong and united, patriotic. In the 3.5 years after this attack, we, the people of the United States, grew stronger by putting 16 million men in uniform, built 100,000 fighter aircraft, 98,000 bombers, 24,000 transport planes, 58,000 trainers, 22 aircraft carriers, over 1,000 other floating ships, from battleships to submarines, and countless of thousands of other vehicles. The United States of America's dedication led to the surrender not only of Japan, but Nazi Germany as well, giving peace and freedom to the entire world. We do this in appreciation of that dedication, determination, and effort, and extend our appreciation to the men and women fighting for our freedom today. We salute them all, past, present, and future. Torah, Torah, Torah! How about that, huh? The Wall of Fire, yes. Presented by Dave West of Omaha, Nebraska, and his team, our pyro team from across the United States. Aaron Haas, Jim Poole, Ken Pood, Mitchie Ryan, Shannon Jones, Rick Marshall, Amber Johnson, John Blevins, Dan Stallings, Kylie Harner, Nick DeJesus, Sophin Say, Larry Gruppentine.
And what better introduction back to the broadcast position here right on the flight line at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph. I'm Dan Hawkins. All afternoon talking all things Thunderbirds. We're about ready for the United States aerial demonstration squadron to take to the air. We've had an action-packed day so far, and we're going to just keep this train rolling. Starting the show with the Thunderbirds. We're going to end the show with the Thunderbirds. Let's get a quick teaser. Take a look at the Thunderbirds up close and personal.
It's showtime! Thunderbirds, let's run them up. Thunderbirds, release ready now. Burners now.
From Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada, and known to all the world as the Thunderbirds!
For over 70 years, they have been the ambassadors in blue, a symbol of American air power, precision, and pride. We see the spectacle, we feel the thunder, but this year, we look deeper. As America prepares to celebrate its 250th birthday, the Thunderbirds embark on a journey into the heartland. This is where the polish meets the pavement, where the happy to be here becomes proud to serve.
It's still like happy to be here and proud to serve all in one for us. They take pride in what they do, and so once they see the jets up in the air and we have a successful
Forged in history, a commitment to a legacy bigger than one person. They are a link in a chain of service, representing generations past and inspiring generations to come. But this is more than an air show. It's a point of contact, a salute to the past, and a promise to the future, connecting a nation and its defenders.
A little kid, he turns around and just his mouth drops, and he was like, "It's a Thunderbird." Like, he kind of like mispronounced it a little bit. And I was looking at it, I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he had to be maybe 5 or 6. I had a coin in my pocket that I gave the kid, and he lit up. He started crying, and he took off. So that hit me the most. And that was for my first impression wearing this patch. I couldn't ask for more.
And so, when the thunder fades and the smoke clears, what remains is the spirit of the team on the ground. A promise kept through tireless dedication. A legacy of excellence written in the skies. And a tribute to the enduring backbone of a nation. Forever proud and forever free.
And the flight line starting to bustle with excitement as the Thunderbirds just minutes away from starting their show. We've been here all weekend long, and we're really excited to see this show. It never gets old as these F-16s roar overhead, and even more exciting to see them perform for the crowd. The level of precision, just amazing as the Thunderbirds get ready to start their full ground show, followed by their legendary aerial act. Enjoy the show, everybody.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thunderbird, start 1 ready now. Derby's down, ready now.
Episodes have been showing Americans what our Air Force can do for over the past 73 years, since 1953. Not a single demonstration has been canceled due to a maintenance problem. Please join me in thanking the true heroes of our team and of the United States Air Force, our maintenance and support professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, as safety is our #1 priority, our pilots and maintenance professionals have determined that it is best to step to one of our pre-positioned and mission-ready jets located at the end of the runway. This is an excellent opportunity to watch our crew chiefs and support personnel in action as they demonstrate the very highest level of attention to detail.
Hey, back here on the flight line at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph, we just wanted to give you a quick update. The Thunderbird's working through a maintenance issue. It happens, and so we're hoping to get the planes up in the air in the next few minutes or so. But wanted to remind everyone, had a great time this weekend, and thanks for coming out. The patience displayed by everybody coming on and off the installation as the base worked through all the plans and the changes to the plans, so we appreciate all of your cooperation. As a reminder, if you're watching the stream and you're on the base, and when it's time to go, if you're at Lackland or at Fort Sam Houston riding the shuttle buses, head over to the Thunderbirds exit area, and if you're going to Rolling Oaks Mall or Judson High School, you can go out to the static display areas. But while we wait for the Thunderbirds to get off the ground here, let's kick it over to this package and learn more about the United States celebrations as we honor America's birthday, 250 years.
Last year, the War Department celebrated the 250th birthdays of the Army, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. This year, we celebrate our nation's 250th birthday with the anniversary of the July 4th, 1776 signing of the Declaration of Independence. At the War Department, we'll recognize our nation's birthday not just on Independence Day, but throughout the year with weekly segments that recall the military's role in winning independence, preserving independence, and celebrating independence. Join us as we reflect on the people, places, and events from the pre-revolutionary period through the current news of the day that showcase what the men and women of our military have done to shape our republic. We will highlight, acknowledge, and celebrate the many achievements and contributions the military, with both military and civilian personnel, have made in American exploration, innovation, entertainment, statesmanship, sports, and culture. Happy birthday, America.
Robert Goddard has fired the world's first
Corona provided photographic coverage of over 500 million
demonstrating use of a GPS man-pack receiver.
In the early 90s, we integrated space into theater operations for the first time in Desert Storm.
250 years ago, America found its voice.
Star signifies our core value.
And today, it reaches farther than ever.
Let's run them up. Thunderbirds returning now. Burners now.
From Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada, and known to all the world as the
Thunderbird 1, ready for takeoff, 15 right.
Boss, winds are 150 at 7, runway 15 right. You are cleared for takeoff. It's showtime!
Thunderbird 1, clear for takeoff, 15 right. Good afternoon, San Antonio. This is Lieutenant Colonel Alex Prevenar, Commander Leader of the Thunderbirds. We can't wait to show you that the impossible is possible at the Great Texas Air Show. Thunderbirds, let's run them up! Stand by. Smoke on ready now. Smoke on ready now. Thunderbirds, release brakes ready now. Burners now.
Over break. Thunderbird fans, have your cameras ready for a picture of formation flying at its finest as the Diamond is approaching from the right at a mere 18 inches apart from wingtip to canopy for your 2026 Diamond Pass in review. Now watch from your left as Thunderbird 5 displays the historic Thunderbird emblem on the bottom of her aircraft with the Knife Edge Pass. The original Thunderbird Diamond was led by Major Dick Catledge, with twin captains Buck and Bill Patilla as wingmen, and Captain Rob Kanaga as the slot pilot. Now look to your left, as the current Thunderbird Diamond maintains precise formation position in the Diamond Roll. As we fly for you today, we are proud to represent America's Air Force. We are the most lethal Air Force on the planet. Now look back to your right. Find Thunderbirds 5 and 6 teamed up this time to create a mirror image in their trademark Calypso Pass. Ladies and gentlemen, the Diamond is approaching from over your left shoulder in the extremely tight echelon formation. Watch as 1 becomes 4 with the echelon pass. Four consecutive our two solo pilots, Rogue and Triple, have once again positioned themselves on opposite ends of the show line to cross at show center for the inverted pass. A difficult maneuver made even more challenging since Thunderbird 5 to your left is approaching upside down. From directly in front, Thunderbirds 1 through 4, Knight, Shadow, Prime, and Slasher will pull straight up into the vertical and trail formation. Emerging from the smoke, you will see the pilots have skillfully transformed back to the Thunderbird Diamond. While the maneuvers you are watching here today are in tight formation and at low altitude, they require the same level of concentration and discipline that every Air Force pilot must employ, whether flying combat missions over hostile territory or flying in support of humanitarian efforts in adverse conditions. Now watch as Thunderbird 5 completes her rejoin with the Diamond to perform the low bomb burst. San Antonio, that was Major Shoal, Thunderbird 5, with one more surprise as she approached supersonic speeds. While supersonic speeds are critical in chasing down the enemy, slow speed handling is just as important in aerial combat. Now look back to your right. Find triple. Low and slow. Thunderbird 5 has rejoined with the diamond to the right. Watch as this familiar formation approaches to perform the 5-card loop. From your left, Major Turner will demonstrate the exceptional climbing performance of the F-16 as he climbs 3 miles straight up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Thunderbirds would like to dedicate this mixed pass to all the families here today whose loved ones are deployed around the globe in the defense of our freedoms. Now watch as Major Turner, Thunderbird 6, demonstrates the raw power and tight turn performance of the F-16 with a max performance turn followed by a half Cuban 8. Look over your shoulder to the right for precision flying under G. And feel the power of the Diamond Burner 360. Now from your right, watch the formation of 6 F-16s precisely maneuver, showcasing teamwork at its finest, for the Delta Formation Loop. As the Delta repositions for the Delta Burst, the flying skill and grace you see evolved from over 73 years of technical training and thousands of hours of practice and employment. Every airman who wears the Thunderbird uniform is a military member first, highly trained in a professional Air Force skill. As Airmen First, Thunderbirds use years of on-the-job training to provide consistent and credible global vigilance, global reach, and global power, giving a critical edge to today's joint warfighting and coalition teams. Wherever they have been before, and wherever they go after their time on the team, the Thunderbirds are Airmen First and Airmen Always, faithfully and professionally representing their brothers and sisters in arms who are providing unrivaled air, space, and cyber dominance around the globe. Approaching from directly in front, your 2026 Thunderbirds and the inspirational Delta Burst. Solo pilots are approaching for their final high-speed head-on pass. As they cross at show center, watch for them to climb sharply, then reverse course in the split-S maneuver to cross again with a knife-edge pass. Let's go inside the cockpit and listen as they execute this breathtaking maneuver.
Top 56330. Size on top 53275 is on the line. Gotcha 5. Solo. Right. Go left.
Ladies and gentlemen, no other maneuver is more closely associated with the Thunderbirds than the one you're about to see. Look to your left as the diamond approaches for the high bomb burst. As your Thunderbirds prepare to land, we hope you have found today's performance inspirational. It is the culmination of hundreds of hours of training and preparation, representing the unparalleled devotion to duty of every combat airman in your Air Force. We encourage those young people in the audience today to dream big, choose integrity, to serve their communities and families, and surround themselves with excellence. As our F-16s come into land, we'd like to thank you for your continued support of the United States military. It has been our great honor to represent America's airmen with our performance today. The Thunderbird officers and enlisted representatives are planning on coming forward to sign some autographs and talk about the great opportunities that exist in today's Air Force. This will take place along the crowd line at Show Center in front of our Thunderbird aircraft. We hope you'll stick around and let us answer any questions you may have about serving this great nation. Now, I would like to take some time to recognize some of the men and women who made it happen. It is my pleasure to introduce you to an important group that represents all of our Thunderbird enlisted professionals. In this center is our line chief. From Chesapeake, Virginia, Technical Sergeant Connor Wallace. Crew Chief Thunderbird 1 from Houma, Louisiana, Technical Sergeant Kyrie Coleman. Assistant Crew Chief Thunderbird 1 from Charlotte, North Carolina, Staff Sergeant Jordan Hutcherson. Crew Chief Thunderbird 2 from El Paso, Texas, Staff Sergeant Yareli Vega. Assistant Crew Chief Thunderbird 2 from Long Beach, California, Staff Sergeant Jeremiah Ekaroma. Crew Chief Thunderbird 3 from Asheville, North Carolina, Staff Sergeant Zachary Glass. Assistant Crew Chief Thunderbird 3 from Cleveland, Ohio, Senior Airman Sutone Tassavain.
And the Thunderbirds are bringing it home the final day of this great Texas Air Show. What a performance by the Air Force's Aerial Demonstration Squadron. We hope you had a great time at this 2026 Great Texas Air Show, and planning for the air show already getting started this next coming week. So we don't take breaks, constantly improving, building on the past shows, and making the latest and greatest even better. So we can't wait to see you at our next air show here at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph for an entire Joint Base San Antonio community, and of course thank you to the 3rd Audiovisual Squadron for our great pictures all weekend long. I'm Dan Hawkins saying so long. We'll see you next time, San Antonio. Good night from JBSA.